Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next episode of Amberleaf. Today we are finally back to work on our next project. So last episode I asked you guys whether you would like me to work on the Yixian Park, the Smilodon enclosure, or the Swamp Park in this episode, and nobody commented. So I asked Discord, and in Discord the Yixian Park seemed to be clearly the most popular option. So today we are going to start work on that. Depending on how this works, this video might be split into two parts. Before we start though, we have some park updates. First of which is this adorable thing. This is my Vespa now. Oh, and yeah, I'm going to use it to drive around the park, though hopefully better than this. And of course, since the last video, we have fully completed the Diplodocus enclosure with prehistoric plants. With our 3 towers, we settled on 3. And this whole area has been terraformed, except for, of course, our chests and stuff, which are still kind of awkwardly here. Also, we now have these wonderful Amberleaf orange touring vehicles on both sides of the Jurassic tours, so that's nice. The only part of this lovely enclosure that still hasn't been finished is IGN's very, very spacious tunnel, although it has been dug out, and 1 layer has been placed on the ground. In other news, alongside our epic moped, which is... I shouldn't say our, it is my epic moped. We have various other vehicles for the park. We have this, which is the Embryo Mobile. This is all the DNA that we ended up getting from digging out the Diplodocus mountain. And since it was hard to just transport in our inventories, we came up with this as a practical way to move it around. We also have this, which is kind of like a groupie mobile, which all of us can get in when we got to drive around. And it's going to be quite a drive, but we do have some more news to share. Alright, so here we are. So in other news, I don't want to... So in other news, Amberleaf Site 11A and B, the primary port for our lovely park, research facility, whatever its official designation is now, has been complete. This is where we will ship vital resources in and distinguish guests, as well as airstrip right here, which is going to land private jets for specifically Amberleaf employees coming to work here. Among our additions is the lighthouse, and of course this giant ship that recently arrived from the nation of Qatar. Thanks to the deal in which Amberleaf gives Qatar resources, they give us resources in the form of this refined petroleum, which we are using to fuel all of our new vehicles in the park. Alright, so as per IGN's orders, we do now have this vehicle tunnel right here, so that we can easily access the restricted area entrance. And the rest of this will be the Yixian Park, which I will explain how this is going to work. So for the Yixian Park, there are 3 big projects we have to do. The first one is the Yixian Garden, which is going to continue the path from the Confuciusornis down. It'll meander around. There's going to be a bridge going over that spot. And throughout this garden are going to be skeletons of the creatures from the Yixian Formation. And then once that is through and this opens up, we'll have 2 enclosures, one on the right, one on the left, which are going to be Bpiosaurus and Liaoningosaurus, which, you know, those are not dinosaurs and fossils in archaeology, but we do have a way that we're planning to do that, so, you know, wait and see. Also, I feel like this concept world is going to become a permanent fixture in the series, but I want this enclosure to be much, much more freeform, just like this. Obviously, you'll have to make some changes to integrate it into the world, but you can kind of get the idea I'm going for here. Alright, IGN seems rather confused as to where we're going to work on these enclosures, so I will go pick him up in the groupie.
The cavalry's arrived.
Yeah, hop in.
Yeah, I'll try.
This bridge is so precarious for the vehicle.
Oh no, if you
Plus, I'm lagging, so it's hard to... There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna ride in the back of the pickup truck.
Okay, so... here is where the Yixian Garden is going to be. The first thing we need is probably like to work on some of the terrain. So we have like a very big dirt crisis.
So did you gather? I actually have like many stacks of dirt and some cobblestone in my inventory right now, so just pop that in the chest.
Is that all the dirt?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We
just
really need
a
that.
bit by working on
so I'll leave 3 stacks, and the rest of this I have to use for something. So grab the leaves. And we're gonna grab bone meal. Anyways, I got the leaves, so it's time to
all of this
dirty,
all of this
man.
digging.
All right, well, IGN's goofing off somewhere. We're gonna build a path. Alright, so there is more to be done. There's the bridge, but we have the path through the first area. The outside of this is all going to be terraformed, but I do want to start placing down our spots for the fossils. I think the prehistoric ground is probably the best display material for these. Alright, so people, before we can continue on some of the stuff, we actually do need our fossils to reference. So IGN is going to get those. I think, hopefully.
The mines have been working pretty hard. Anyways, all of this hard work is making me think of Cotton Eye Joe.
Not this again.
He was the first human cloned by Amberleaf, and a massive success for the company. Amberleaf kept the old Crusty Joe under wraps for the sake of not angering the public. You know, with the annoying genetic ethics organizations and all that.
Oh yeah,
anyways,
there's so many of those.
Yeah, we did a ton of testing on old Cotton Eye. And I began to start a friendship with him. One day, during one of the tests, the Cottonator was given many different guns to test on some cloned sheep. He took the liking to the shotgun.
Why are there so many guns at Amberleaf these days?
I don't know. Unfortunately,
yeah, you do.
Instead of shooting the sheep, he shot some of the workers. If not for Cotton Eye Joe, they would have been married long, long ago. I barely escaped with my life, and the only one that survived that incident. Later on, when I came back with the proper equipment, the cotton sprayer was gone. Sometimes I still wonder where he went, and if he will come back to take the life of me, the one survivor.
Wow, such a story. Are you mining or not?
I'm mining. That was one of the stories of all time. Yeah, but I seriously am worried. I mean, he's very lethal in combat, so I'm not sure. If he came back, I'd be able to take him.
So I think the dinosaur here should be you, Tyrannus. I think.
Yeah, I think that could be pretty cool.
So I think that's probably the right size for you, Tyrannus.
It's a good spot for another one.
Right here. Like this, and then...
Yeah.
Alright, so right here, should I put the little Oviraptor or the little Dromaeosaur?
Oviraptor. I feel like we should put some fences here. What type?
I'm trying to decide whether the Changuraptor should go. Yeah, it should go in this middle spot, I think. And then maybe have some ferns and stuff concealing it. I'm gonna make sure I spell this right. Changuraptor. So as far as the garden goes, I think we should finish the first half and then do the second half. So we're gonna finish terraforming and everything this whole area before this tunnel spot, and then we're gonna do the rest after.
Yeah.
Alright, people, so we got our first 4 creatures. The skeletons in here: Confuciusornis, right here, Tyrannus, right here, Caudipteryx, and of course, Changuraptor. And the garden will continue around here and down into this area. But as of right now, I do think I need a break, so I will take that break and then I will come back to finish recording the garden. Alright, and with an extra bit of work, actually more than extra, we have finally finished our beautiful Yixian garden. So, if you don't know, the Confuciusornis gave me the idea for this Yixian park, and this whole garden kind of represents what is to be found at the Yixian Formation and the geology of that time. Alright, so based on fossils, and most fossils of plants from the Yixian Formation are petrified wood like this, we know that it was mostly coniferous plants. Now, I chose ginkgo trees because I think these look really pretty, but they probably would have been around the time, alongside other ferns and other things. So the Yixian Formation probably had like a mostly human climate, but it like fluctuated a lot, so I tried to make it a little more scrubbier as opposed to tropical. And I like this garden a lot, mostly because of the lovely like minty color that's found throughout. So the first animal is of course Confuciusornis, one of the earliest avian dinosaurs, that is to say birds. And of course we did the Confuciusornis yesterday, but I'm quite happy about this little display that shows them sitting on top of some berry bushes. The great predator at this time in early Cretaceous China would have been Tyrannus, which is an early relative of course, Tyrannosaurus and the Tyrannosaurids. One of the interesting things about Tyrannus is that the fossils we found from them actually have very well preserved feathers, and based on the size, I tried to recreate the size of Tyrannus pretty well. This is one of the largest dinosaurs to be found with feathers, and from this is where scientists first speculated that Tyrannosaurus and the larger Tyrannosaur family did in fact have feathers. We also have Caudipteryx, which was actually originally thought to be a stem bird, although it's now known to be an oviraptorid after more research, and small little oviraptors. I have a nice little display here of them guarding their nests. We have one of the many dromaeosaur species that called this early Triassic environment home. This is Changuraptor, and it's a small dromaeosaur. I bet there's a ton more to this one, but I didn't research before recording this bit. And after the first area of the garden, here we have the second area of the garden, which has 3 species. This right here is Dongbatitan dongi. Anyways, this would have been the largest animal and the large herbivore roaming the plains at this time. There were a few other sauropod species, but this one really did catch my eye. And although it was large, it was probably not the massive size of some other sauropods. Now, the last 3 animals we have as skeletons here have some very, very interesting evolution. But this one right here is actually quite a mystery. The Dongbatitan is only known from a few fragments, vertebrae, shoulder girdles, and from this, scientists don't actually know exactly where it lies in the sauropod family, whether it's descended from the more primitive Jurassic sauropods, or if it is an ancestor to the later Titanosaurs that lived during the Cretaceous. IGN made this little thing, opens up, and then you can access the restricted zone from here. And in this little spot we have two skeletons of Bpiosaurus, and over here we have a skeleton of Liaoningosaurus. Now, since these are going to be the 2 dinosaurs that we will be making in today and next episode of Amberleaf, I'm actually not going to talk too much about these evolution, as to not spoil the discussion we will inevitably have later. But I gotta say, these 2 have very, very interesting stories, especially Liaoningosaurus right here. Anyways, as with the concept world, here we have our slabs that are going to be the beginning of the outside enclosure. Alright, people, so IGN and I did make a video, and it ended up being 30 minutes long, so I am in fact going to split this into 2 parts. So the first part is of course the building of the garden, and then for the next episode, which should be released very soon since it's already been edited, so stay tuned for that. In that video, you will see our first enclosure build for the Yixian Park, as well as see name suggestions. So yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like. I don't have anything to comment for this episode, but comment something, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.